If you're a male and you worry about losing your hair, here's some news for you. It might start happening sooner than you realize. Luckily, Keeps is here. Keeps is FDA approved, doctor approved hair loss treatments for a long-term solution. You get a 90-day money-back guarantee. They have literally thousands of happy customers who have used their service and gotten products delivered discreetly to their door to help them keep their hair. Take advantage today of our 50% off your first order promo at keeps.com/geekdom. I'll leave a link down below. That's keeps.com/geekdom. Go there today and keep your hair. One of the main goals behind the writing of the 2022 Dragon Ball film, Dragon Ball Super Superhero, was to bring Gohan and Piccolo back into relevancy after giving so much spotlight to Goku and Vegeta throughout the majority of Dragon Ball Super. And we saw that in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, where we saw both of them achieve new forms. In fact, with Piccolo, he achieved not one, but two new forms. And Piccolo fans have been very, very thirsty for some kind of relevancy since he really hasn't been used all that effectively for a very, very long time. And thus, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and switch the transformation guide now into focusing on Piccolo and Gohan's new form, starting with this video where we talk about Piccolo's new transformations from Superhero, starting with a little bit about the potential Unleashed Piccolo and capping it off with Orange Piccolo. All of that and more on this edition of the Transformation Guide. Before checking out this video, if you are new here, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. But also, if you're new here, you may want to check out a couple of other videos for reference, especially if you're a fan of Piccolo, specifically the History of Piccolo Dragon Ball in-depth video, where I talk about sort of the lore and the mythology behind Piccolo, as well as a video I did in the Dragon Ball X Saiyuki series called The Secret of Orange Piccolo Explained. These are two important videos that will actually help your understanding of this while you watch this one, so check those out as well. Dragon Ball Super Superhero originally was written by Akira Toriyama to be a Piccolo solo story, but thanks to the influence of Dragon Ball Room head and Toriyama's right-hand man Akio Ioku from Shueisha, it was changed to include Gohan into the picture, but Piccolo was still the backbone of this film. And unfortunately for Piccolo, his relevancy has been dwindling in the series since around the Cell Saga. He didn't do much in the Buu Saga. He didn't do much in the Resurrection F arc. Maybe a little bit in Universe 6. He was on the team. And a little bit in the TOP. But besides that, he hasn't really been used that much. But with Superhero, Piccolo is now a fighter. And not just a fighter, a very important fighter and the backbone of the story. Piccolo is a character that, starting with Dragon Ball Z, his importance seems to have gone down arc by arc. He was there, tippy-top number 2 guy behind Goku at the very beginning of Z, but then Raditz and Gohan kind of shoved them down a little bit, and then we have Vegeta, Nappa, and everybody else, and then Piccolo had a little bit of shine in the Frieza and Cell sagas, and the last time that he was really the strongest was when he had fused with Kami to become the nameless Namekian, and attain his original power. Now, the reason why I bring up the nameless Namekian, the son of Katatsu, because I did discuss this in the History of Piccolo video, is that the lore behind the character of Piccolo and Kami when they were one has a lot to do with the lore behind Orange Piccolo and the idea of where this all came from. But first, we got to talk about what Piccolo first achieved. In Dragon Ball Super Superhero, Piccolo realized that Gamma 1 and 2 were much stronger than him. Oh, and by the way, this will have spoilers for the film, so make sure you've seen it. Let me get that out of the way right now. So Piccolo realized that Gamma 1 and 2 were fearsome warriors, and he had to figure out a way to get stronger, faster. And he also knew that looming in the horizon was the Red Ribbon Army's secret project Cell Max that could threaten the existence of the entire universe, if not more. So Piccolo chose to go visit Dende because he remembers that the Grand Elder of Planet Namek, Saichoro, known as Guru in the dub, was able to tap into Gohan and Krillin's potential and lift it up, sort of unlock their potential, which is what he did in that arc. But that's never happened to Piccolo. He's never had that ability. You would think fusing with Kami did it, but it's not the same thing because this power that these ancient old Namekians have is rooted in Namekian magic, which is all kinds of cool lore that maybe one day I'll do a whole video on because Namekian magic is awesome, right? So Dende tells him that no, this ability is something that only the older, more experienced elders know, but what he can do is upgrade the Eternal Dragon, and that is what he does. He pours water on the dragon and upgrades it into giving it stronger powers, and then Piccolo makes a wish and wishes for his power to be unlocked, and the dragon does grant the wish, but also says he threw in a little bit of a bonus, something extra. That is kept a secret until later in the film. Specifically when Piccolo and Gohan are engaged in a fight to the death with Gamma 1 and 2. When he engages them in this fight, he transforms where his body goes from green with lines on it to a more yellow, lighter green tint. This is Piccolo with his potential unlocked. Now, the official name of this form that we have discovered from Japan is Piccolo Potential Capacity Liberation, which is one of the most Japanese names ever. But to make things simpler, it's best to call it Ultimate Piccolo. You could even call it Mystic Piccolo if you really want to go that deep. I wouldn't do that. Ultimate Piccolo or Piccolo Potential Unleashed. And this mirrors what Gohan's power was prior to, which was Ultimate Gohan. Did a whole video explaining Ultimate Gohan in the past, but the difference is that Piccolo got his power from the wish of the dragon, whereas Gohan got his power from the old Supreme Kai and his divine wisdom and divine magic. One thing you have to always remember is that the dragons in the Dragon Ball series that are wished upon from the Dragon Balls are dragon gods. We're talking about the Earth Dragon Shenron or Shenlong. We're talking about Porunga, whichever one. They're versions of dragon gods, wish-granting dragon gods. And because of that, they do have a somewhat mythical kind of power, but they're not on the level of a Supreme Kai. So you could argue that the Supreme Kai's version of this is probably more potent. You could say that, especially since when Gohan got his powers unlocked on Namek, he wasn't anywhere near as strong as he would be in the Buu Saga when he got his powers unlocked by a Kaioshin. But either way, Piccolo gets a tremendous boost in speed and strength and in his ability to use Ki in this form versus what he had before. And because of that, he was able to match better with the Gammas. Now, the Gammas have neural net processors, just like in Terminator. So because of that, they learn and they adapt and get stronger as they fight. And because of that, Piccolo ends up not doing so well after a bit of time. And what ends up happening is, as he's falling down into this sort of valley chasm in the Red Ribbon base, there's a huge explosion. He remembers what the dragon told him, and he glows in this giant golden power. And that is when he unleashes a form that he calls, because there's no other name for it, he calls it Orange Piccolo. And that's because Toriyama loves to do things that are really simple and kind of silly, like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Black Frieza, Super Saiyan Blue, all that stuff. So Orange Piccolo, albeit a simple name, is the name of the form. Now, the power behind that roots all the way back to Planet Namek, because right before he transforms, you see this symbol that looks like a tree, and it appears on Piccolo's back when he transforms. He grows several inches in height, although he's not a giant, but he can become one, and we see him become one against Cell Max. But before that, he grows several feet taller and becomes nearly invulnerable to regular attacks from beings that aren't insanely strong, including the Gammas, who, we literally see him getting pummeled, and it doesn't even faze him. So what this symbol is a representation of the pride of the Namekian race. The symbol is what's called the Ajisa tree. This is the little lollipop trees that are on Namek, and these trees represent the trees of life, and they are planted on planet Namek and represent the pride of the Namekian race. And because of that, Piccolo is sort of like I guess you can call it like the Super Saiyan of the Namekians. In fact, take a look at how even the form looks. Granted, his doesn't have any hair, right? And he doesn't stay the same height. There are differences visually. There are these unique sort of colored elbow type of things around his arms, like almost like pieces of glass, but they're part of his skin, like armor. And like I said, he gets a lot taller. But the orange kind of looks like gold. And of course, Super Saiyan hair is associated with the color gold and yellow. So you could make an argument that this orange Piccolo power, the Namekian pride and the tree, that this could actually be the true Super Namekian of legend. Don't forget, back in Dragon Ball Z, they discuss on numerous occasions what a Super Namekian is. At one point, Lord Slug in DBZ Movie 4 thinks that he's a Super Namekian. When Piccolo fuses with Kami to form the child of Katatsu, even before the fusion happens, we find out from the Grand Elder that he was considered a Super Namekian on the level or even stronger than what's known as the Densetsu no Super Saiyajin, the legendary Super Saiyan. Namekians have their own legendary warrior, and although you could say that the child of Katatsu, aka the nameless Namekian, Piccolo's true form, is a Super Namekian, I feel like it would make more sense if maybe he was never able to really tap into that secret power until now, until the dragon was able to grant him that wish. Now you may be wondering, why did the dragon grant him that wish? Well, the most obvious answer is that the dragon recognized that that used to be Kami, which was his original creator, and thus he's giving a gift to his original creator. That makes sense, but also the dragon has a lot of knowledge on the Namekian lore. Specifically, we hear them talk about this Namekian Book of Legends, which has not even been expounded upon since then. We find out, though, that there's a lot more secrets to the Namekian race that have been revealed, and this appears to be one of them. So if you were to ask me, although it is just theoretical, it would make sense if Orange Piccolo, this orange giant transformation that he uses in the film, is the true Super Namekian power, Super Namekian legend. Now, again, this is not something that is stated. It's something that ties into Dragon Ball Z, but it's something that I think makes a lot of sense. And the question then becomes, well, could Piccolo have done this form or gotten this form on his own? And I feel like it's possible that he may have been able to get it on his own, through many, many, many more years of training, and the dragon may have pushed that, but it's almost implied like this is a power that was lost in time because the dragon just gives it to him. And no matter what your opinion may be on that, because there are a lot of mixed opinions on Piccolo wishing to be stronger, it's still something to where it's a gift from the dragon, and it's something that definitely ties into Namekian lore with the giant tree, because that's all part of the original planet of origin of Piccolo. Obviously, Orange Piccolo is insanely strong. He's able to duke it out with Cell Max. Even though he does lose, he's able to hang in there for quite some time and come near death, but not quite die. And he seems to recover relatively well. So, Orange Piccolo is, without any semblance of an argument, the strongest Piccolo has ever been, and I really look forward to seeing when we see this form again in the future of Dragon Ball. On the next transformation guide, we look at Gohan Blanco, aka Gohan Beast or Beast Gohan, the other form that was revealed in Dragon Ball Super Superhero at the very end. I will talk to you guys in that video. Take care, and in the meantime, check these videos out as well.